Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wes Hubbard, and I'm doing a version of the comic Anthologist from a remote location near my office. In any case, just wanted to basically bring to light about one Green Lantern by the name of Kyle Rayner. Now, everybody knows that Hal Jordan and Alan Scott were the two ones before, but with Hal Jordan, he went rogue after the events of the Reign of the Superman storyline when he saw his city of Coast City being destroyed, and it kind of sent him over the edge. And he ended up taking that energy from his Green Lantern ring, not after his defeat of Mongol, which is, I would want to say, an intergalactic despot. But once he did that and was able to defeat him, and after the original Superman was able to be brought back to life after the whole Death of Superman storyline that took place from 1992 to 1993, which was the Death of Superman, Funeral for a Friend, and the Return of Superman storyline, which ended up becoming the Reign of the Superman. It was one of those things where Hal Jordan kind of lost his semblance of reality on whatever happened, and he ended up becoming a intergalactic despot, which I'm about to show you in a moment. But the new Green Lantern at that time, who was brought in with some kind of controversy, was gone by the name of Kyle Rayner. And with Kyle Rayner, he basically ended up taking over for Hal Jordan at the time when he went rogue. Now, once he did that, he basically didn't get the type of training that Hal Jordan got with Kilowog and Sinestro and the others that he worked with. So as a direct result, he ended up having to learn how to use the Lantern Ring on his own once Hal Jordan had destroyed the core. Now, I'm saying in terms of Hal Jordan destroying the core, he figured he could just take the rings of all the lanterns that were trying to protect Oa. And what they ended up doing, he basically ended up killing most of those lanterns just trying to get to the Guardians on that planet. So as a direct result, well, let's just say it didn't go well for the Guardians or any of the Green Lanterns on that planet, because he was considered the greatest, but at the same time he snapped because he became power hungry, because he wanted to take that power and use it to restore Coast City, which I might add did not work very well. In any case, Ganthet was the last Guardian that was introduced, and basically he took Hal Jordan's ring, and Hal Jordan had stomped and destroyed his ring. As a direct result, he went to Earth with whatever energy he had left that his brothers gave him, the other Guardians, and ended up turning over the ring to a new ring bearer by the name of Kyle Rayner, who made his first appearance in Green Lantern Volume 3, number 48, when he was with his girlfriend, Alexandria. Now, issue 49, basically he was at a club right after all the events of what took place with Hal Jordan. At the club, he basically stepped out for a breath of fresh air, and the Blue Guardian by the name of Ganthet, had actually landed in the area where he was, and he basically handed Kyle the ring and told him, do what you must with it. After that, Ganthet disappeared. Kyle put on the ring, since it was originally Hal Jordan's ring, and the ring in turn had encoded itself genetically to Kyle Rayner at that moment. Thus, this is the reason why you have issue 51 of him being the new Green Lantern, but he didn't look like that just yet. So in the meantime, once that took place, he ended up having to literally, and I would say learn by trial by fire, in terms of how to be a Green Lantern, because there was no one there to train him. And also, too, he found out as time went on that the other lanterns had other weaknesses. This ring didn't have a weakness. It didn't have a weakness to yellow, and basically, since he was an artist, all he had to worry about was making sure that he didn't break his concentration. So as a direct result, he used anything that his imagination cooked up and was able to create those light constructs to thwart the bad guys in the beginning. Now, the first case he had to work on was someone trying to tap into the power grid in Beverly Hills. and he ended up taking out that particular bad guy very, very quickly. But as it turns out, that there was other interested parties who wanted his ring, and that was, I would like to say, the U.S. government. And they sent someone by the name of Major Force, who had recently escaped prison, and they wanted him to go and retrieve the ring from Kyle. Kyle was still learning how to use the ring. He had just gotten back with his girlfriend, and as a direct result, Major Force went over there and did things that, let's just say, he changed Kyle's life forever by killing his girlfriend. Once that was all said and done and over with, then he and Major Force went toe-to-toe, and it ended up turning into a big, huge fisticuffs where he ran out of power, but right when Kyle was about to deliver the final death blow, the ring ran out, and Major Force mopped the floor with him. After which, Major Force showed him a chunk of Green Lantern, what was left of the Green Lantern from Oa that came with Ganthet. And that piece of chunk of what was left of the original Green Lantern from Oa ended up forming itself into a new lantern for Kyle. And as a result, his ring got a new charge, because most times with the Green Lanterns, they have a 24-hour charge and they have to recite an oath. In brightest day, in blackest night, let those who worships evil beware my power, my Green Lantern's light. But that's not the entire oath, but I won't go into it any further. But all I have to say is that he learned that there was a whole rich history with Green Lantern that he didn't know about until after the fact. So, in the meantime, he had to become a hero in his own right as the events called 0 Hour took place. And there he ended up going toe-to-toe with his predecessor, Hal Jordan, who had ended up becoming the villain known as Parallax after destroying the Green Lantern Corps. Now, once he did that, basically Kyle had to destroy Oa to keep Hal from trying to take the power of Oa for himself to rewrite history, or rewrite everything that he could change, so that way he can go back to things the way they were. Because Hal Jordan was a man who had been pushed over the edge. He snapped, and he was never the same again. So, in the meantime, Kyle had forged his own destiny in his own right, working with the likes of Superman and eventually becoming a member of the Justice League. But the story doesn't stop there. And this all took place back in 1994 to 1995. Now, going further from there, and this is basically an image of what happened when Coast City was destroyed. Hal was in despair, and that was issue 48 of Volume 3 of Green Lantern. Here is when, like I mentioned before, he was going around destroying and taking other Green Lanterns and taking their rings from them, so that way he could gain their power to not only get after the Guardians, but also to try to set things right in his eyes, which didn't quite turn out that way, because one thing I've learned is that when you become a bad guy, you think you're doing the right thing, but you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And it's one of those things that I've learned from just watching Batman Begins. It's like you become a hero, but you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And that's basically what happened to Hal Jordan. Any case, issue 50 was the last issue before the series became what it was. And that was right there where Hal Jordan had became Parallax through and through. And then you have the new Green Lantern by the name of Kyle Rayner. But Kyle's story doesn't end there. Basically, he becomes a torchbearer for the Green Lantern Corps in terms of becoming Ion eventually down the road. Because when he destroyed Oa, the energy had to go somewhere. So it went completely inside of Kyle, and Kyle ended up becoming the torchbearer of the Green Lantern Corps. Ended up becoming the hero Ion, but also ended up having to, how shall I say best, once he became Ion, he didn't have to recharge his ring anymore. So that weakness was completely wiped out. But eventually he did give up that power, and when he became Ion, he became the embodiment of willpower, or will, which is basically what most of the Green Lanterns have to use in order to wield their rings. Now, Any questions on this, you can definitely hit me back with any emails about it, because this is just part one of the broadcast regarding Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern from 1994 till about 1998. But he lasted a while until they decided to go ahead and put Hal Jordan back, which I knew was going to happen eventually. But it was just nice to have a different breath of fresh air, to see a different person playing, or rather being, the hero Green Lantern for a change. I'm Wes Hubbard. I'll be back with more broadcasts with my twin brother soon enough in the near future. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay safe, stay healthy, and overall, continue to keep reading those books and enjoy them for what they are. Thank you.